Hello, my loves, and welcome to EQ with Jah. So, this is a follow up to my Love Guru video I just recently posted, which was about talking to your partner as the friend they are meant to be. Your partner and the relationship you create should be about the friendship, and anything other than that literally is the frosting. It is not about being and I always tell people this, when especially when I meet people, they're like, oh, why would you want to be monogamous or this. I don't care if you're monogamous, polygamous, whatever. That has nothing to do with me personally. I like having a relationship with another person, one other person who I see can counterbalance the needs not only of my physical world and my spiritual world, but also my emotional world. Okay? To me, spiritually, I need to be able to have an aha moment with you and talk to you about it without feeling like you're going to gaslight me or make fun of me. I have to physically know, yeah, I'm attracted to you and we can interact and have sex and stuff. But that's an act that's replicable and you don't have to have any attachment to me. And so for me, I've learned that it's not about a relationship that has to do with sex anymore. It really is about understanding that emotionally we have to have a balance that we trust. When we trust ourselves and we trust the relationships that we start to build, we start recognizing how we actually engage and entertain each other when it comes to what we feel we need in relationships. Now, in one of the videos, I was saying that people have all types of addictions. Addictions are not just substance that were made by man. Addictions can also be emotional attachments. They can also be fixated on different things that make you feel like you need this thing to fix you. That to me is the truest definition of something you're addicted to. That you don't need anything to make you feel comfortable, but there most certainly are things that can make us feel calmer and at peace and be a catalyst to kind of help us sort out our emotions. Now, in the video, I was saying that there's people who can be addicted to their children. You can be addicted to your pets. I remember a long time ago watching an episode of Oprah where there were relationships falling apart because these moms were saying, like, I am in love with my children. And there was another group of moms who were like, no, you should love your children, not be in love with your children. Because when you're in love with your children or in love with your pets, that means that you're giving them every single thing you got all day long, thinking about them, giving to them financially, giving to them physically, giving to them emotionally, because you have nothing else to give to anyone else, not even yourself. Do you understand that's what this means? And this is kind of the concept that the lady who wrote the book, I forgot her name and what episode it was, but she was saying to Oprah, like, if you get to a point that you forget you started this family with a partner, then when you make these children, that tells them that you were really never in it for the connection to their soul. You were in it for the reproduction of the human body, which is what a child is essentially, because we don't know what soul they're getting. We just know we're bringing life into this world, which is a choice. And that brings me to the point of usually when we choose to get a pet, I myself, we're going through a moment of emotional isolation. And so it's usually comforting to be like, I don't really need anyone else. I honestly don't need another person. But we do need other living, sentient beings and energies that are teaching us how to love ourselves and feel safe in our love. Now, this is why I wanted to step back into the topic of when we speak to our partners. And as a quick example, when me and my partner first met, I have a cat, he has a dog, and he's had his dog for 13 years. And I had my cat just recently for about a year or so, or going on a year. And turns out he wasn't used to cats, and I was done taking care of dogs. But just like a nuclear family or anything else, because I have stepdad and I come from a family of remarriage, that it's understanding that you're not going to get to choose the kid no more than you get to choose the pet or the energy that comes with them. It's about the unconditional love that you're able to divvy up amongst all of them. There is an emotional maturity when we say we're ready for a relationship or we're ready to be with someone, that we have to really take into inventory what we're asking for. There's times I've met people and I've had exes in the past where they literally have created such a world for their pet that they feel the person who dates them has to be in that world with them. And that's okay if the person coming in is willing to do that. But if the person coming in is willing to only love you first, then you have to find a way to make a routine with the animal who is used to having you all to themselves. Same thing with children. You have to find a way to make a routine and keep a routine with the kids that you had before bringing in this new energy so that they feel like they're a part of what you are creating versus being a part of what you've created. Some people are okay with walking to what others have created. I myself am a creator. If you're like me, I have to walk in and co-create with you. I can't feel comfortable being in someone else's space that's, I've lived here for 18 years. Come on and move into my space. Good for you. I'm like, look, this can be your space for 18 years, but we're going to compromise so that I feel like I have functionality in your space. I don't need to take over your space, but I need to know I have functionality within that space, because that tells me that you also want to co-create with me and you respect me. That's what it really comes down to. Um, the first time that we moved in together, he's not used to cats, so there's like litter boxes sitting out and stuff, and he's like, "Oh my god, the poop!" And it's like, that's just part of having a cat. And then he started working, and I had to walk the dog. And I'm like, "Oh my god, the poop!" And I'm like, "Well, that's part of having a dog." And so, understanding that we both chose to take care of these lives because we knew we wanted to feel safe. To me, that makes the bond of the love stronger. And that's when you start seeing how others are going to allow you to come in and co-create with them. If you have a partner who's not willing, may it be, again, down to the fashion. I'm not a fashion guy. He is. Huge closet. I got a little section. I'm okay with that compromise because I don't need that. You know what I mean? But I'm an electronics guy. So I'm like, I'm getting this, I'm doing this, I'm taking over this space to make my little office and my podcasting and whatever else. And he was okay with that. These are the compromises that you're going to constantly have to find way to make way for each other, because sometimes there's going to be times when I'm right now doing a project where as soon as I get off work, I'm working on the project for 3 to 4 hours. And so then I have to know when to stop to go spend time with my partner so they feel like they're as important as the project I'm working on. The whole key of this topic is making sure you're making the time to make your partner feel important. Now, I've said this word a lot, partner. I know when I first grew up, it used to be one of those terms that sounded like you were trying to hide me. But then I also realized, well, what do we have for names of people who you ain't married to them yet, and your boyfriend and girlfriend, but you're past the initial, we're just kind of hooking up. Like, if you know you're about to build a family, to me, that is a partner. If you know you're building a household and a legacy together, that's a partner. And when you decide if you want to do wedding vows or do some cool ceremony to represent your love, that is a marriage. And then you can move on from there. So for anybody who doesn't like the word partner, get over it. Because to me, it's all about partnership. And that's what it's always been about. And so when we have the things in our lives that, again, they might not be an addiction at the time when we're alone by ourselves living our lives, but if you start to change and glow up and intermingle with someone new, and you step into a new environment and they're like, hey, like, we all have dogs, let them play and we're going to talk to each other, and you're like, no, I gotta watch my dog, I gotta watch my, there's people like that where they're like, okay, so their owner's crazy and I don't want my dogs playing with them. This is, again, the energy that we build for ourselves when we don't allow ourselves to open up to the collective when necessary. You don't have to give away your boundaries or give away too much to the collective, but you do have to be a part of it so that you stay attuned and tapped into what you're supposed to be doing when it comes to self-enlightenment and waking up to consciousness and listening to yourself. Again, emotional stability, emotional regulation, they are all a part of emotional intelligence that says there's something bigger than me that I'm supposed to keep making way for. And if you keep doing your job when it comes to allowing yourself to be open to things you're not usually open to, like the dog on the bed. I don't know if that's an ethnic thing, but I'm not used to that. But it's okay because the compromise is always about as long as we keep the dog clean, as long as we take care of the fur, it's not a big deal. That's two people meeting in the middle, coming from different worlds that aren't the same. But instead of trying to make each other feel bad about it or disrupt the comfort of the animals who got used to their world or discomfort of the children who are used to a certain type of leniency or whatever, these are the things we have to communicate so that we always are paying attention to the relationship we're building with ourselves. Because if you're not able to communicate with yourself, then you're most definitely not going to be able to communicate with other people and express what you need to say when needing to say it. And then they will not know how to express or receive it to you because two things: you don't ever speak, so they don't know when you need to be spoken to. And if you don't speak up, they're just going to assume they know what you need. And then that's when you start getting what people call the narcissistic personality, where they feel like, well, I said, and this is how it should go. But if you're sitting back, remember, narcissism has a polarity and a duality. And if you're sitting back accepting this type of dominance and being told how to act and be in your environment that you created, then yeah, you're now a part of this system that is going to take over, metastasize, and you will not survive. So it is important to come in knowing that, hey, I created this world for me to feel safe. I've had this world longer than you, but you're something that I want to have a part of my life that I can have stability with and build upon, not just something that I can have already in my built world that is just upon. Woo, you hear that? So build upon something. Don't be someone's pawn in something. And that's the moment when you have to really start recognizing the relationships you ask for are going to be meet you exactly where you are emotionally in that time frame. So if you're emotionally conscious and ready of like, this is what I want, I know I want this, nothing's going to break you from ever being in tune with the type of people and the type of tribe and the type of relationships that you call in. The key is not getting so stuck on having them your way, that way all the time, that you become this person where this is my world and you're just here to rotate around it. And I'm like, no, baby, we're two planets who are in each other's gravitational pull. So we about to make a whole new galaxy. I'm not about to be rotating around you, rising and coming up every day. No, don't shine for nobody like that. Shine for yourself. But knowing that you shine for yourself, don't get so stuck in being like, I ain't doing that, that you turn off somebody's blessings of trying to give you something through a doing. You understand? Sometimes if you do something for others, not knowing that it's doing a lot more for them than you're going to get blessed 3 times, 10 times. Because when it's not about you and you still do it, you're releasing energy. And a new release of energy creates a new type of consciousness and a new type of alignment. And that's why we say there's an aha moment, the awakening, the stepping into the new. So focus on building your relationships in a way that you're able to communicate openly about everything. How you like the bed made, how you like to do the dishes, how, so that way you guys have a schedule, you have a consistency. Like, hey, if you're not going to do it, at least organize it for me so I can take care of it. And once you get past that baby step, eventually you can revisit, like, all right, well, since you organized it, you might as well do it. And that's how love works. No. All right, guys, as always, thank you for following along. Any message you want to talk about, you can always hit me up in my comments. I have no problem talking about anything. For the most part, everything that comes through me is just a channeled message of, hey, this needs to be talked about. I'm going to talk about it. If it helps, it helps. And I always love helping. So as always, check me out on all my social media platforms, epicinity.org, Blankcanvas.club, which is all EQ everything. So blog, quotes, videos, playlists. It's really cool. I love sharing music. Music is one of my healing practices. So jump on in, enjoy, as well as all my social media platforms. Again, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok. I got them all. All right, guys. I love you. Have a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful day. And I will talk to you later. Bezos. Mwah.